But that lady, that new press secretary, she's
that video, dude.
She's a gangster. And you know why they're prepared? Because they're trying to play gotcha.
Yep.
So she played gotcha with them. She checkmated them.
She came in there with that fucking Elon Musk flamethrower.
Play that video.
They have mocked him, they have shamed him, they have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake.
The hosts of The View recently turned their attention to White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, launching into a heated critique after she refused to follow their usual media playbook. Her refusal to fold sparked such a reaction that podcast icon Joe Rogan jumped into the mix, wasting no time in calling out what he saw as over-the-top behavior. In a fiery episode, Rogan accused the show of trading meaningful discussion for political theater, calling the panel out of touch, and too focused on image over substance. If you're here for real talk and unfiltered takes, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. This one's going to get intense.
Lady, that new press secretary, she's a
that video, dude.
She's a gangster. Have you seen that video?
You've never seen someone more prepared for a question in your life, Jamie.
Have you seen that?
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Small point on that. Not the big point, but small point. She was so prepared for
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, she's supposed to be prepared.
That's why I
Jamie.
said you've never seen someone
You know
more
why?
prepared.
For that.
They're
that
prepared.
specific.
Rogan didn't hold back. He praised Leavitt for staying composed under pressure and handling her critics with skill and confidence. According to him and many others, Leavitt is quick, informed, and sharp in her delivery, a refreshing change from the cautious and often scripted performances we've seen in the past. By contrast, critics have pointed out how Karine Jean-Pierre, under President Biden, often leaned heavily on notes and avoided direct answers. That's why Leavitt's style feels like a game changer. Calm, focused, and unapologetically clear. Yet for The View, that kind of presence from a young conservative woman wasn't a moment of respect. It was a reason for backlash. Apparently, when a woman thinks independently and doesn't echo progressive narratives, it becomes a problem.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
What triggered the backlash? Leavitt's refusal to play along with The View's style of discussion. Her firm stance disrupted the flow and caught the hosts off guard. She didn't backtrack, apologize, or soften her views. She stood by them. That kind of confidence seemed to rattle the panel, especially coming from someone they may have underestimated. In standing her ground, Leavitt exposed what many see as double standards in how conservative women are treated in the media. Interestingly, even liberal figures like Bill Maher have expressed concern about The View's growing reliance on political outrage and emotional appeals over facts and dialogue.
Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging. You just lost a crazy contest to an actual crazy person. What a shocker that the people who see everything through the lens of race and see their election loss as a result of racism and sexism. Yes, if only we weren't so irredeemably unenlightened, we would have elected a black president by now. Oh, what, we did?
Bill Maher's critiques have become a warning sign. When voices like his start questioning the direction of progressive media, something's clearly off track. Leavitt didn't just push back, she held up a mirror, challenging the panel to face their own inconsistencies. Initially, she chose not to respond to the criticism, focusing instead on her work. But the attacks escalated. She was mocked for her experience, and even worse, some reduced her qualifications to her looks. An unfair and outdated jab that crossed a line. That's when she spoke up, not with anger, but with clarity and confidence. Her response was measured, yet direct, shining a light on how some claim to support empowered women only when those women support the right causes.
You do know that you're walking into hostile territory, right?
Certainly do. And look, I think I'm well prepared for that. And I'm incredibly honored that President Trump has instilled confidence in me to speak on his behalf behind the White House podium. It's been an honor to have a front row seat to the greatest political comeback in history. And as you mentioned in your monologue, Sean, President Trump is putting together a brilliant cabinet of fantastic America First fighters, from Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who are going to cut the waste out of our federal bureaucracy, to Susie Wiles, who is going to serve as the first female chief of staff in history. Take that, Mark Cuban, to Tom Homan. No one better to secure the border.
Leavitt's rebuttal cut through the noise. Her words were clear, firm, and impossible to dismiss. The panel may have expected hesitation, but instead got a sharp, composed response that challenged their assumptions. It shook up the conversation. While Whoopi Goldberg tried to reclaim the moment with strong emotional appeals, it wasn't enough to undo the impression Leavitt left. She had already shifted the dynamic. Her performance revealed how fragile the foundation becomes when dissenting voices are no longer welcome, especially when they come from someone unafraid to speak plainly.
And now to hear you talk about it, and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason. Please stop using that phrase and talk about, because you don't understand what you're saying. You're saying about yourself that, hey, that's a terrible thing to be. It's not a terrible thing to be. That's why we fought.
It's moments like this that spark deeper questions about the state of media commentary. Whoopi Goldberg has been a prominent voice for years, but some viewers now question whether her influence matches the responsibility that comes with it. While she once had a major presence in entertainment, critics wonder what lasting impact she's had beyond the stage and screen, especially in areas like community development or advocacy. Her opinions on race and politics carry weight, but they've also stirred controversy. In several instances, her comments have drawn confusion or backlash, leading many to ask, is she still speaking for everyday people, or just playing a role the media expects of her? That's when Joe Rogan entered the conversation and made his voice heard.
It is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies infested hen house.
Rogan didn't tiptoe around the issue. He went straight to the heart of what he believes The View has become. In his view, the show has drifted far from constructive conversation and veered into sensationalism. He pointed to past controversies, like Goldberg's infamous take on World War II that sparked public outrage, or remarks comparing the experiences of different marginalized groups in ways many found divisive. To Rogan, these moments aren't isolated. They're part of a larger pattern of inflammatory commentary that shuts down real dialogue. And finally, someone with a massive audience chose to speak out. Even Joy Behar couldn't calm the storm once Rogan got going.
So Joy Behar went after Joe Rogan on The View, and he fired back spectacularly.
You're worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons. And you know why they're prepared? Because they're trying to play gotcha.
Yep.
So she played gotcha with them. She checkmated them.
She came in there with that fucking Elon Musk flamethrower.
Play that video.
Rogan also took aim at Joy Behar, responding to one of her more bizarre claims with his signature wit. Her accusation that he believed in dragons became a punchline, and Rogan used it to highlight what he called a lack of seriousness in her commentary. He didn't just mock the claim, he unpacked it, showing how some moments on The View veer more into performance than substance. But beyond criticism, Rogan used the opportunity to praise Leavitt again, calling her intelligent, articulate, and unwavering under pressure. He saw her as a refreshing voice in a media landscape that often rewards sound bites over clarity. In a time when political conversations often lack depth, Leavitt, according to Rogan, brought the kind of directness and insight we need more of.
What do you think of Whoopi Goldberg saying it's worse to be a black person in America today than a woman in Iran? I see we were talking about the trans issue before, and the New York Times really has come over on that to the sort of the sensible, liberal, not crazy woke position. I think this is a great first step toward getting the Democrats back to sanity, and a second good step would be we got to do something about The View.
Bill Maher summed it up perfectly. If we want to get back to thoughtful dialogue and away from performative outrage, The View is a good place to start. Maher, a lifelong liberal, has warned about how the progressive movement is losing its way. trading intellectual honesty for rigid ideology. Where liberalism once meant valuing debate and defending freedom of expression, too often now it feels like dissent is punished and facts take a back seat. Karoline Leavitt reminded us that you don't need to shout to be heard. You just need to speak with conviction and truth. Joe Rogan's powerful defense of her and his takedown of The View echoed what many Americans feel. It's time to stop amplifying noise and start listening to people who actually bring something meaningful to the table. If you got value from this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next one.